Hi, my name is Tiana, and the purpose of my documentary is to distinguish if antibiotics has caused more problems than it has solved. Antibiotics has become a huge worldwide medicinal form of treatment. They were developed to treat several serious illnesses at the time. In the years that have passed, antibiotics have been used inappropriately, forming a multi-drug resistance. Our microbiome was disrupted and diseases were untreatable. The overuse of antibiotics has enabled our immune systems to be resistant, causing more problems now than it has ever solved. What can we do, and how did this happen? If we can discover a new drug that can reset our microbiomes to fight off pathogens once again, how much longer will we be able to wait before we all die from bacteria? Antibiotics is a type of drug used for treatment and prevention of bacteria-related infections. When it was first introduced in 1928 by Alexander Fleming, he created penicillin, which widely treated injured soldiers after World War II. He was still experimenting at the time, but as soon as the Coconut Grove nightclub burned down, it was time for Fleming to put his new drug to the test. It ended up saving more than 100 lives. Fleming had discovered Penicillium notatum when he left uncovered a plate full of Staphylococcus bacteria. Fungus started growing and it killed everything next to it. Antibiotics work by killing bacteria or preventing them to not multiply. This may be to block vital processes going to bacteria or just death. Certain types of antibiotics work in different ways within the body, and it also depends on the type of bacteria being active. 10 million deaths a year globally are expected to hit by this antibiotic-resistant superbug, and because of this research, the world immediately needed an answer to fix this problem. By preventing the antibiotic from entering the cell, it makes the alternative enzyme bypass the effect of the drug, causing a resistance to the drug itself. The drug triclosan encourages antibiotic resistance within bacteria. It enables the bacteria to survive, so rather than killing it, triclosan just stops them growing and multiplying. Research is still unaware of how this certain drug gained these capabilities, but it is a worry for the US Food and Drug Administration. This company urges to ban the use of triclosan, which is present in hand soaps, to prevent the further spread of it. The microbiome in the human gut is particularly important for regulating metabolic functions and the immune system response. Our body is composed of different types of bacteria, but also microbes, which consist of archaea, fungi, viruses, and protozoa. This whole group of bacteria and microbes is called the human microbiota. They enter through the large intestine along with other microorganisms and help to digest food, prevent pathogens from entering our internal organs causing infections, and to strengthen our immune system. While the microbiome is doing its job, some factors can also interrupt its role. Diet, for example, influences the composition of the microbiome. Senate 2014 showed a recent study in mice that consuming a lot of protein can alter the effects of drugs on our metabolism. Research also indicates that the way babies are born, either by natural birth or caesarean surgery, influences the way the gut is positioned. This is because certain bacteria are revealed in the gut, for example, Staphylococcus. Microbiome is easily affected once exposed to these drugs that can lead detrimental effects on their health, therefore progressing onto the topic of the superbugs. So back to antibiotics, how bad are they for our digestive system? Once consumed, it affects 30% of the gut's abundance, causing significantly large drops in the gut community. Once these drugs are taken, it is transported to the bile, which then goes to the large intestine. But by doing this, it does upset the body's natural balance, therefore causing an imbalance in the microbiome. Research has investigated that yes, antibiotics did cause more problems than it has solved, but since World War II, when penicillin treated wounded soldiers, antibiotics has evolved much more quickly. When antibiotics was created, people started taking advantage and made different ones according to different roles. This has caused issues as humans thought we could just prevent an illness rather than treat it when it comes about. With this mindset back in the 50s, antibiotic resistance was known and more issues appeared every day. In order to solve the resistance, wash your hands is an important prevention act. This enables bacteria to stop the spread to other individuals and to keep ourselves clean of gaining more unwanted diseases. Do not share personal items either, as you don't know who has an infection. Moskvich explains we need better diagnostics to quickly identify a bacterium and allow ourselves to correctly know the right treatment for it. To invest in this type of equipment saves people dying from the wrong drug and the spread of bacteria multiplying. For example, India has no hygiene and no knowledge of what antibiotic sufferers need. This country needs public health, public hygiene, and professionals to know what they're doing. Research is now wanting to create an antibiotic that kills the superbug so pharmaceuticals can start all over. This would be exactly what the world needs and for the government to invest in. This graph indicates that India is the worst country for the highest percentage rates of antibiotic resistance. The different coloured sections point out the types of bacteria-related drugs used to defeat resistant superbugs. Australia having the lowest percentage, as this country has policies and strict laws when it comes to prescriptions and over-the-counter drugs. This graph shows that 53% of Indians take antibiotics with no prescription. From 2000 to 2010, there was a huge increase for India and other countries of billions of people consuming antibiotics, Germany being the most educated and China becoming the second worst. Bacteria is born every time we take an antibiotic and gives them a chance to become a superbug. India is the worst country in the world for antibiotics. ABC News reported that there is over-the-counter prescription and no policies for the use. Poor sanitation and hygiene is in India, which also contributes to the growth of bacteria. The worst bacteria being is NDM1, which is New Delhi metallo-beta-lactamase. Turning destroyed ones into undefeatable ones, Dr. Abdul, interviewed from Four Corners, indicates there should be strict policies to rationalise out the antibiotics. No more over-the-counter, but more stricter laws to prevent the overuse and making more resistant superbugs. David Ricky was a victim of a train incident in India that turned into a dangerous infection. As his foot got stuck in the train wheels, walking on the train tracks, he managed to escape with a punctured artery and much more damage. But once taken to hospital was where it all went wrong. The medical officer took out an unsanitized knife and started cutting his leg off. Because of the unclean knife and the dirty environment he was surrounded in, David had obtained numerous infections that the USA has never seen before. After taking colistin, the infection went away, but other problems emerged. Being taken off colistin, another infection arose, and the superbug reappeared. It was a long journey for David to recover, but understanding the importance of antibiotic resistance does change the way mindsets occur when choosing to consume a drug. This is Adam Pritchard representing Alexander Fleming. Hi Alexander, thank you for joining me today. My name is Tiana, and if it's okay, can I have your time for just one question?
Yes, of course. What can I assist you with?
So what encouraged you to continue on investigating the depths of penicillin?
Oh, well, you see, as soon as World War II had hit, and infections were spreading fast through wounded soldiers, I wanted to dedicate my time in understanding how infections worked and if there was a cure. When I discovered Penicillium notatum, it became the best medical discovery anyone had ever made, and it inspired me to keep going and to continue saving lives.
Thank you for that. That sounds really inspirational. Thank you for taking the time to answer my question. After being widely accepted to create penicillin in World War II to help heal the wounded soldiers, antibiotics has vastly changed. Not necessarily in a good way, but it has caused more issues than it has solved. The demand for prevention and treatment quickly as possible was high, and this created the antibiotic resistance. Superbugs had arisen. Once individuals took advantage of this magic bullet and bacteria was defeating its purpose, research had to investigate how. The human microbiome is an important function of a human's digestive system. Once interrupted, it cannot do its job anymore to protect us from pathogens, so antibiotic resistance had evolved. It is important we understand how to take control of this situation and end the drug resistance. We need antibiotics to live when presented upon an illness, and if our bodies cannot respond to that drug, we will die.